I just feel bad it had to end like this. 6 thought-provoking confessions from the good people of the internet. I, a man at 24, want to be adopted. Hello. I'm 24 years old, currently live in Pittsburgh. I just wish I had someone to be my parents. A little about me, my life has been rough. Some people are born into loving families, and some people aren't. I'd be willing to elaborate privately further, but my life has been filled with extreme amounts of abuse. Physically and emotionally, my life has been torture in the true sense of the word. I'm currently not working, but at one point I wanted to be an actor. I didn't know how to apply to colleges, and we didn't have much money, so I never went. When I do work, I occasionally sell collectibles and work on film and TV sets behind the camera. I haven't worked in that since October, and my collectible sales dried up in early March. I've been struggling for a while. I've not seen or spoken to my birth mother in many years, and no longer speak to my birth father. I have severe PTSD. I get mad at the smallest things. My condition has been very debilitating. I don't have money for therapy, and in the past it's not worked and has only been an expense for me I didn't want to pay. I don't have many friends or people that care about me, maybe 3. I'm hoping to find someone that can adopt me in a sense. Despite the things that have happened, I have a lot of love to give. A lot. Just no one to give it to. I want so badly to have people in my life that would be willing to love me, guide me, be a support system and mentor and parents that I just never had. I'm not doing great. I thought I could do it on my own, but there's a large hole in my heart from the lack of love I received. I find myself incredibly jealous of people, of their support systems. I just feel like most everyone else gets love from parents and was able to do things I wasn't able to. The abuse has stunted my mind, and in a lot of ways I still feel like this 11-year-old wondering why his parents hate him so much. It was programmed into my mind how worthless I am, and how unworthy I was of their love. I'm hoping that's not true. I'm hoping somebody can help me, really help me understand what it's like to be loved. I'd do anything to have people there for me to show me how things are. I want to do things that I never got to do as a kid. I want to put up a Christmas tree and give people I like presents. I want to go camping and learn how to set up a tent. I want to sit at a table and have dinner together. I want to learn to change oil in a car or change a tire, and go on a road trip vacation. I want to do all the things I see families do in TV shows and movies. I learned a lot from TV and movies. I'm very knowledgeable on them and enjoyed talking about them. I'm a walking encyclopedia when it comes to the world of film. Who's that actor? I probably know, so maybe I can be useful, I'm not sure. I feel trapped where I currently live and have decided I need to move. So while I'm currently in Pittsburgh, I would be willing to travel pretty much anywhere if you are willing to open space in your heart for me. That would be worth the travel. I don't currently have a girlfriend. My last relationship was a while ago and it took me some time to get over it. She got really sick and passed away. I love music, seriously all kinds. The only exception is metal or something where they are screaming the words and it's hard to make out what they are saying. Other than that, my playlists include everything: newer music, way older music, happy music and sad music, quiet music and loud music. I really have an extensive taste. I love to laugh and make other people laugh. It's a coping thing, but I love to tell jokes and would love to tell you jokes. My favorite color is red. My favorite food is mac and cheese, so if you have a recipe to share I'd love to give it a shot. My favorite animal is a cat, although I love dogs too. My mother is allergic to cats and I could never have one. Got my cats as soon as I was on my own. I'm not sure what else to put. I'll try to keep this updated with more about me info as I think of it. I appreciate you reading this far. I just don't want to tiptoe around my house when I'm scared. Even when I know it's only me. I don't want to get so mad that I cry when I hit a red light. Even though I know it's not the universe out to get me. I just want to try to reverse the damage and fill these parent-sized holes in my heart. If you are willing to love me, I would really appreciate the opportunity to love you as well. I don't really have many photos of me, because there's no one to take the photos, or anyone to take them for, even. So most of the photos are a little old, but the very first photo I took today. I once shared a drink with Ted Bundy. I've only ever mentioned this to 3 people in my personal life. This occurred in 1975. It was at a house party gathering, whatever you want to label it. I recall he kept glaring at me and I felt uncomfortable, but I also thought he was extremely handsome. He did approach me and we had a brief conversation over a drink. Either way, he ended up moving on to some kind of conversation with someone and I ended up going home. It turned out he was a friend of a friend's brother. When everything came out about him, I recognized his face immediately. I had chills run through me that I cannot even describe. The conversation was nothing special. He asked my name and if I was in college, which I was at the time. I was 19. I told him my first name and that I did attend college, but thankfully he didn't get the chance to ask, whereas he was sidetracked by another man who started talking to him. I didn't live in the area, so I didn't attend college there. I was just there visiting my sister, so had he ever decided to try to find me, I highly doubt he would have been able to track me down. He came across as frighteningly confident and very sure of himself. I do recall also feeling as though he was only after one thing. At the time I assumed it was just physical. For a moment I found his confidence appealing, but that didn't last long when I looked into his eyes as I told him my name. There was a stone-cold lack of empathy that I cannot even put into words. I had to kill a mouse by hitting it with stones. Apparently my grandparents' cat found a mouse last night and my grandpa thought the mouse was dead and threw it outside in a paper towel. My grandma tells me about it and I go outside and see. The little guy is still moving and breathing. I searched online how to take care of him quickly so he doesn't suffer longer. I brought him towards a paving stone and gently leave him on it while I go find a big flat rock. He actually moved quite a bit in that 30 seconds. But there's just no way he can survive. There was blood on the tissue and he didn't move all night and there were flies around him and on him. I just lifted the rock over him and let it fall. He stopped moving immediately. I dropped it another time just to be sure. There was just no way for that little guy to live. I just feel bad it had to end like this. I am an atheist, but my wife does not know. My wife and I have been together for about 12 years. We were both Christians and soon after we started dating, we became very involved in church. We got married 3 years later. We bought a house and had 3 kids together, typical happy family stuff. About 4 years ago or so, I started really struggling with my faith and began searching for answers or confirmation of belief. After an experience shortly after and everything I was encountering in my search, I could no longer believe. I still haven't talked to my wife about it. She knows I've had my doubts and struggles, but not that I simply no longer believe at all. She's still a strong believer. I'm just afraid that, if she were to find out, it could potentially destroy our marriage. Other than this one thing, we have a pretty great relationship. We also have a lot of family and friends that are believers, of course. None of them know. Actually, only about 2 or 3 people do. I just try my best not to talk about religion at all, and, when I do, I just usually agree with whatever is being said so as to not give any hints. It'd be nice to just be honest and open, but not if it could cost me my family. My husband had an emotional affair. I've been married for just over a year. Our anniversary was in April. A few days after my anniversary, my husband went on a bachelor trip with a longtime friend. When he was on this trip, he met a woman in a bar and somehow exchanged phone numbers with her. I don't have the details there because when I have asked, he just tells me that he was too drunk to remember giving her his number. She texted him the next day and that is how he found out he gave out his number, so he says. He proceeded to text her for 6 weeks after the initial first meet. She found out about me and ended their text relationship. She somehow got my phone number and told me everything and apologized. She sent me screenshots of their texting and all the selfies he sent to her. I know he didn't physically cheat, but my heart is broken. I also have an 11-month-old daughter who was 8 months at the time he did this. When I asked him why, he said that he wasn't getting the attention he desired. He also said I was ragging on him a lot. Meanwhile, this is going on. My mom has stage 4 cancer and is very ill. I feel as though he should have been a little understanding with that going on. I would like some outside opinions as to what next steps you would take if you were in my shoes. I just don't know if I can ever trust him the same. I saved my dog from being euthanized after he attacked a kid. It sounds bad, I know. Let me tell you the story. It was about 2 years ago. I had some terrible neighbors, the ones that complain about everything and demand you fix things that they deem wrong. Well, they had a kid. Let's call him Max. And this little shit was a 10-year-old bastard. He egged cars, spray-painted houses, the works. The worst, though, he would throw rocks at my dog from his yard. He had this jungle gym-like structure that let him go over the fence. I was livid. I told his parents to make him stop or there would be problems. They told me to keep my mutt inside. One day I let my dog, let's call him Waldo, out to use the bathroom. And Waldo is a big bull mastiff, about 120 pounds at the time. Max starts throwing rocks and Waldo just loses it and smashes through the fence and gets Max. In his infinite wisdom, instead of staying in his little structure, Max thought running back inside would be a great idea. Waldo got him by the arm and had him for close to 15 seconds before I could pull him off. Max was bleeding a lot. His right arm was pretty messed up. Anyways, the parents come running out screaming at me. And they call the cops. At this point, I had to act. I am not going to lose my dog over this little bastard. And lucky for me, my brother was visiting. I told him to take Waldo back to his house and hide him there. Cops and animal control came and I said Waldo ran off. In the end, I had to pay some fines and some medical bills but no jail time. And the parents' lawsuit against me failed in court, mostly because I had the money to spend and they didn't. Max ended up having some kind of permanent damage to his arm cause he couldn't move it all that well afterwards. It wasn't till a few months ago when those shit stains finally moved away. And I waited a while after that. But after nearly 2 years, I have Waldo back and living with me. Somebody replied, this whole problem comes down to butthole parents not doing their job to train kids to respect animals, keep them on their own property, and not destroy other people's property, such as egging or spray painting. They should also respect their neighbors by not throwing stuff into their yard. Basically, they need to be decent human beings. The kid messed around and found out the hard way. I'm sorry the lesson had to be so harsh, because losing the use of a limb is a high price to pay. I'm glad you hit your dog, OP, because the dog doesn't deserve to lose his life because someone antagonized him in his own yard. The message here is that if your kids are poop stains, it is your fault. Your only job was to raise them to live peacefully amongst other beings, humans, animals, and be decent humans, and you failed miserably. Thank you for listening to these people's stories. Do you have any of your own you want to add? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel and I will see you tomorrow for more daily videos.